are looking forward to win the Europa to qualify to Champions League. The one person on throne of deck, they qualify. Manchester United.
We as our own.
Shortcut. But there's no shortcut to heaven. No.
Yeah, now you're trying class with the 15th. But you want to use shortcut to go to Europa Champions League. This is the VAR Room on Westman Studios. Today we'll preview the UEFA Champions League semi-finals first leg games. And I have the guys to do this with me. I have Sefas and I have Kwesi Nabila. What's up, guys?
Charlie. Well, him that I they abandoned by Jumana.
Yeah, no. Sefas, what's up?
No. I can't.
Charlie, the UCL preview, like the semi-final games, Charlie, top ones. Interesting ones.
Big games to look out for.
Big games.
Big games.
Like, I don't know where to start from because those two games are very big one. PSG Arsenal, Barcelona Inter Milan.
Yeah.
Very good one. But let's just start off with Arsenal PSG or PSG Arsenal.
Yeah.
Nabila, just talk to me about that game. PSG lost their game over the weekend in the League One by 3-1 against Nice. And Arsenal didn't play this weekend. So fortunately for them, they played in midweek and they played a 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
That's a game that the likes of Partey will be missing that game due to suspension. How would this game go since Arsenal will be missing Partey?
Well, that's quite an interesting game to look at because, like you rightly mentioned, both these teams are onto something. If they are able to progress to the finals, they have the chance to win their first ever UCL.
Yeah.
In there. So it's a very important game for both teams. But I think that the pressure is on Arsenal.
Yeah.
Why? Because Arsenal are playing home in the first leg.
Yeah.
You mentioned that they missed Partey, who has been a very crucial component of their UCL running. We saw how Partey played in the quarterfinals, both in the first and second leg games against Real Madrid. And so he's going to be a very key miss in this game. Very, very key. Take it or leave it, whichever way you look at it as an Arsenal fan. You cannot look at the components and the composition of your midfield this season and say that Partey will not be a key miss in this game. Very, very important player in there. But I think that even without him, I still think that Arsenal have the Arsenals. I'm playing with that word. Arsenal have the Arsenals to do justice to PSG because in the UCL this season, they beat PSG 2-0 in the group stages. And I've always maintained that, listen, this game is physicality against technicality. And it's about who is going to come up on top. Arsenal have all of the physical profiles in there to do a job against PSG. However, PSG, they are the embodiment of technical excellence this season.
And they have a very tactical coach.
A very excellent coach.
Luis Enrique.
That midfield of Neves, Brian Ruiz, and then Vitinha. Look, if Arsenal do not take care, they are going to they are going to cook them in circles and Arsenal will be dazed. So for me, I think that if the game is going to be won or lost, it depends on how well PSG will play technically against Arsenal. And look, if Arsenal are able to come out, be physical, athletic, win their duels against PSG, I have no doubt whatsoever Arsenal beats PSG. Because in the first game that I mentioned in the group stages, in the UCL this season, Arsenal were able to bully PSG.
Yeah.
That was how they beat them. They bullied them. I mean, set pieces, physicality, like I've mentioned, winning their duels, going after PSG, not allowing them to play their game. Because if Arsenal allow PSG to play their passing game, I'm sorry, it's going to be like a very messy situation at the Emirates.
Okay, so first, Nabila just said something about PSG. Just talk to me about how Enrique is doing so well with the midfield of Vitinha, Ruiz. Like, they are playing so well this season that we really need to applaud Enrique about that. Just talk to me, what can they do to just stop Arsenal from winning?
If you look at this Arsenal team, okay, a lot have gone wrong for them in the past because of the mentality they've had in the Champions League, and that is what Arteta has corrected in this past few years. Now, what is that? This Arsenal team has now become more streetwise. It is one reason why Real Madrid dominates the European Champions League, and many people do not pay attention to it. Look, any team Real Madrid comes up against, throw whatever challenge you have. You can come as them, play very expansive football. You can come, be very robust and very physical. They'll match you
boots for boots.
And that is what Arsenal is doing.
Exactly.
Look at the first leg against Real Madrid at Emirates.
Yeah.
Exactly what they did to Real Madrid. And there was no way coming back. PSG against Arsenal. If you watch the first leg or the first meeting in the group stage, when they lost 2-0, Luis Enrique came out and said, look, they failed to match Arsenal in terms of intensity. They failed to match Arsenal in terms of their quality of play. And since then, PSG has turned the corners. You mentioned how the midfield has been solid. It's the technical brilliance of the three players you mentioned. PSG would need to add a lot of grit to their game. Now, where the competition has gotten to, it's not about how brilliant you play. It's about grinding the result.
You just need to grind the result.
That is why I have a bit of a problem with the away goal room being taken away from the Champions League. But that one is also a discussion for a different day. But I expect Luis Enrique and his charges to go to the Emirates and face Arsenal, like a team that really won the Champions League. Sometimes you need to fight.
Yeah.
You need to, you can have all the technical brilliance on the day, but you need to show aggression. Look, you need to show that you want it more than the opponent. And if they should approach the game in that manner, no doubt about it, they'll get a result from the Emirates.
And one thing about the Champions League is first league games are very important.
Very, very important.
Exactly.
And we
saw that in the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
when you want to win the qualify, just do well to do very well in the first leg.
Yeah.
And you'll be good to go to the next stage of the competition.
That's true, especially for the team that's playing at home Arsenal.
Yes.
If they're able to beat PSG like they did against Real Madrid,
0-0.
I think that if they're able to beat them,
Like
get a
0-0.
I think
2-0.
if Arsenal even get a 2-0 to take to Paris,
the Prince.
I think it'll be game over. I just think that
I also feel it will also be difficult.
Yeah.
It will be very difficult.
yeah.
And
Very-
interestingly, PSG are yet to win against us now in 5 meetings. If we want to include the UEFA Super Cup, okay, that will be 5 meetings in total. Arsenal has won 2 and drawn 2. PSG are yet to win against Arsenal. So this is a very big game for them. And look, because of their involvement in the Champions League, don't forget, they are even though they are dominant force now in France, they've not won the Champions League yet. But Marseille has won it before. So it's something Marseille...
That's playing. Yeah, exactly. It's playing on your mind.
In France, it's one thing that the chaps from Marseille use as a bragging right over PSG.
Yeah, to
and
piss them
so
off.
it's the reason why there are certain weekends you see PSG not playing a league game in France. Because they want to rest the players, put them in the right shape, right frame of mind for the Champions League.
Yeah.
Okay.
So PSG do not have anything or any excuse to give.
So let's go straight to Spain. And Barcelona will play against Inter Milan.
Yeah.
That's another big game.
Big
one.
Big game.
But what is wrong with Inter? Inter lost over the weekend against Roma.
Yeah.
The Tinker man is here to lose in 2025 for AS Roma.
Yeah.
And they are just coming down because they've lost their last 3 games. Losing against Bologna in the Serie A, losing against AC Milan, AC Milan in the Coppa Italia, and now losing against Roma. This is a game that there will be a lot of pressure on Inter. What do you think Inter needs to do, Nabila, to just get a positive result in the first leg at Spain?
I think in this game, Inter would decide for Barca how Barca should play. And for me, I think that it is more of Inter's game to lose than Barca's game to win. Because I think Barca have shown vulnerability this season, especially in the last 3 games, that they can concede a lot of goals.
Yeah.
Sorry. We saw them against Dortmund. We saw them against Celta Vigo. We saw them against Real Madrid. In all these games, I'm talking of Dortmund in the second leg, they've shown that they can be able to concede goals and concede. And there's an Inter side that, even though they are losing, with the exception of them being beaten whipped
The
by
Coppa Italia,
in the
3-0.
Italia in the 3-0, I think most of their losses are 1-0.
1-0. Yeah, they lost 1-0
yeah.
against Bologna and another 1-0 against AS Roma.
So for me, I think that if Inter will be able to hold Barca, get a goal or 2 against Barcelona, I think it will be a done deal for Inter.
But do you think they can do that in Spain?
That is the point. So that's the point I was coming to. I can't say that. Unfortunately, I come to play against a very fluent, free-scoring,
And
free-flowing,
an informed
Barcelona team. And mind you, Barcelona come to play against Inter with a lot of confidence. They beat their city rivals. What again?
Yeah.
And they know that if they're able to beat Inter, they are also on the cusp of winning a treble, even a quadruple.
That's true.
So for me, I think it's more of how Inzaghi approached the game. I think that Inzaghi is coming away. I think he should just play his normal 3-5-2 formation. Whenever you are off the ball, I think they should be able to play their 5-3 to defend in a very low mid block, whichever way you're going to defend in that, because Inter are good on transitions. And Inter is the team that are able to generate fake transitions. When I say generate fake transitions, what I'm saying is that they are able to play the game and make sure that they leave a lot of space between their midfield and then their attack. And when they just a pass into the attack, they lay it off to the midfield and they are just running and then they hoop it over Barca, who are playing a very high line.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that it's more of Inter's game to lose than Barca's game to win. If Inter are able to hold Barca very well, which is very difficult, but we've seen, Inzaghi should take a book out of Mourinho's template in 2010. Make sure that go after Barca, get an early goal, maybe soak the pressure from Barca, get another goal. Even if they're able to get a draw, even at the Olympic Stadium against Barca, I think that Inter stand a chance to go through. But it's going to be a very, very difficult game.
Yeah, very difficult one. So say first, Barcelona, an informed Barcelona side is meeting Inter Milan, and with the way Hans Flick plays or his system is, when you even want to just take one player out of the game, he always has another way to just unlock the defense line of the opponent. What should Hans Flick do to just get a very good result in the first leg?
I don't think he will do anything different from what we've seen him doing.
As usual.
Hans Flick is already stubborn.
Yeah.
So he will still, try to press Inter high line as usual. But then I think this game, a lot will depend on how more Inter will defend.
Yeah.
And whether or not Barca will carve out opportunities and chances. Because I think if still Barca will still find opportunities. The question now is as to whether Inter can defend and find their own way of creating them on the counter. Look, I watched this Inter team over the last 3 games. Unfortunately, I don't know how it has happened, but they seem to have hit a bad run of form going into this game. In the last 3 games, they are yet to score.
Yeah.
And they've conceded 5. In the Champions League proper, before the game against Bayern Munich, they had conceded, I think, 2 goals the whole season.
The whole season, yeah.
And then they conceded 3 against Bayern, making it 5 in total.
Yeah.
So they are one of the meanest defense in the Champions League this season. They scored 19, yes, but they are very compact at the back.
That's true.
The game against Roma this afternoon, there was a few changes. We expect the usual suspects to start in midweek. Bastoni, Acerbi and all that. They'll come back into the starting lineup in midweek. If I want to juxtapose this Inter Milan team to the one I saw under Jose Mourinho in 2010, Mourinho's Inter were more aggressive.
Yeah, very compact.
Than this Inter.
Very compact.
And if Inter needs to get something out of this game, they need to approach the game in that manner against Barcelona. This Barca team, yes, they have a lot of technically gifted players, but I want to see them being pushed, being shoved, being kicked, and how they will react.
Yeah.
Because that is what will ultimately define their season.
Exactly.
That's true.
Inter are now virtually, they've lost the
Coppa Italia.
And they've lost the Serie A too because they lost to Roma. If Napoli win, that's 3 points.
Yeah.
So give or take, it looks like the Champions League that they need to look at now. And so this game is more like a final for them. Unfortunately, history favors Barcelona. In 12 meetings between the two sides, Barca has won 6. There have been 4 games that have ended in draws. Inter has won only 2.
Yeah.
So it tells you that the tides shift slightly in favor of Barcelona. A very good attack will always somehow find its way around a very robust defense. As to whether Barca will take it is another question. How well will Inter defend on the day? Look, I think Barca will still create the chances. I've watched this Barca team this season, and I don't see how Inter will stop them from scoring at the counter.
Now, just one thing. I think Cephas makes a very brilliant point about Inter being very physical. I think that Barca, this is one of their vulnerability, like you mentioned, is the fact they don't have a lot of physicality in the middle.
In the middle.
And it's something that's surprising that a lot of teams have not been able to
identify
them
That's true.
as Cephas said. Yeah. And I think it was something that Real Madrid should have done so well against Barca. And I think if Inter, with Çalhanoğlu, Barella, Mkhitaryan in the middle, if they are be able to go physically at Barca, I think they stand a chance to do something against Barca.
Okay, so in the next 30 minutes, let's just talk about the Europa game. Manchester United playing against Athletic Club playing against Manchester United, and this is a game that United are looking forward to win the Europa to qualify to Champions League. The one person trying of they qualify Manchester United.
Shortcut, but there's no shortcut to heaven.
You're in your class, with the 15th, but you want to use shortcut to go to Europa Champions League. Oh, let's just talk about them. But they played over the weekend. They played a 1-1 draw against Bournemouth, and Athletic Club too also had a win. Just talk to me about that game, say first. This is a game that will be very tough for both sides.
Yeah.
But who do you think is going to win?
Let's not forget the final this season will be held in Bilbao.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of motivation for the basket club
Yeah.
in Spain, and the ever calm Ernesto Valverde has the experience at this level. It's going to be difficult. Look, let's not take anything away from the fact that United, yes, they are not in the good shape of form going into the game, but I don't know. I have a funny feeling that United is running on some lack of a sort.
Yeah, in the Europa.
The reason why they've not even lost a game
In
this
Europa.
season in the Europa League. It's going to be difficult, but something tells me United will still nick it over the 2 legs.
You think United will win
I
in
think
the first leg?
I think United are about to be exposed.
Okay.
They've ridden their luck for quite a long time, and I think that this time
As a
around,
club will just punish them.
Inaki and then his brother. They'll do justice to United. Yeah, I want them to do justice to United. You can't just be riding on luck and find your way through it. I just think that Atletico Bilbao will discipline them.
And do you think in the Conference League, Chelsea also go through? Chelsea's also going to win the first
I
leg?
think it's a formality for Chelsea. I think they'll just beat
Scoreline?
Yeah. Probably maybe another 3-0 away win for Chelsea.
Scoreline Chelsea.
A 2-0 win away from home.
So I just want to take a quick prediction from you guys. Arsenal PSG in the first leg. Say first.
Arsenal to win it 2-1.
Same prediction. Arsenal 2-1.
I also feel Arsenal win 2-1. And Barça Inter. Say first.
2-1 in favor of Barcelona.
Okay.
If it's going to be draw, it's going to be 1-1. If there's going to be a win, I think Barca will win it 3-1.
I also feel Barca will win 3-1. Why you just having the same feeling? Athletic Club, Manchester United. Say first.
I think the first leg is in Spain, right?
Yeah, it's in Spain.
Difficult one. 2-2.
Wow. Just give me a blank.
My mind is blank. Maybe Athletic win a 3-1 win for Athletic though.
Athletic Club will score 3-0 against Manchester United.
Wow.
Chelsea, you said 3-0, 3-0.
No, 2-0.
2-0, another 2-0. So to our viewers, just go on on the comment section, just check, and anything that you want to comment on your prediction on this game, just do that. Maybe you might not know. We might just give some few people who might get a correct score. We might just give some few people give us a correct score. So just like, just subscribe, just comment on our YouTube channel, and we are good to go. So it's a wrap from us. We are out.